look at the Mandela Effect from a new angle. We're just going to look at it from the point of view of how do I explain this? Cause and effect. Okay. So let's begin. Let's go with our first one. Apparently, it was the Flynn's tones. Doesn't make sense. It would be Flintstones or Flintstone. Why would it be Flynn? What is a Flintstone? It's Flintstones. Oh gosh. Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense. I mean, like, you just have to, like, oh man, it's like you just, you turn on the intro and it's like, okay, he's using the dinosaur like a crane. It's like, okay, it's a wacky show, and then there's like a bird, like, as an alarm bell. So it makes sense, something like Flintstone. Like, that's not a real name, but, I had a teacher named Goldstone, Silverstone is another common name, or Goldstein and Silverstein, same meaning. So it makes sense they would play off that with the name Flint. There's no reason for it to be Flynn. It's stupid. It's not a parody like everything in this show is. I mean, they run with their feet instead of drive. So, doesn't make sense. We'll get to Fruit of the Loom later. That's my favorite. Alright, Curious George. It looks really stupid with the tail. You could say that's enough of an argument. It's like, why would they make him? Like, it just looks stupid. If this is the original drawing, it kind of doesn't really look like it would make sense. Let's see what type of monkey George was based off of. Does it say? Alright, it doesn't really... Oh my gosh. You think it would talk about it. What type of monkey is Curious George? I don't know if it says... I don't know that they ever explain the kind of monkey he was. I'm not talking about what scientists would describe him as, rather like, what is what did his creator want him to be based on? I don't know how old this picture is. If it's before the supposed Mandela split, it wouldn't make sense for this to have a tail. It wouldn't, especially with the legs are so short. When you draw a creature with a tail, you tend to draw it with longer legs. Aesthetically, it's unpleasing. Yeah. Looney Tunes. It's actually Looney Tunes. People are like, why would they do that? It should be Looney Tunes. I think Looney Tunes came after Merry Melodies. Melodies, emphasis on music. So you have Merry Melodies, which, here you go. Look at this, old stuff. It eventually becomes Looney Tunes. So that's the thing. Merry Melodies is older than Looney Tunes, so it was the focus on music. I don't know if that was because they were silent. Oh yeah, even before that was Silly Symphonies. So yeah. Yes, oh no, Merry Melodies came after, but I think Silly Symphonies is even older. So yeah, it dealt with the music, the sheet music. So that's why it's that. Yeah, Merry Melodies, the whole Looney Tunes thing. Yeah. Another good one is Monopoly Man had a monocle. When I thought about this, I was like, definitely, definitely. But when you see how hideous it looks, you know this never could have been like it doesn't make sense. Just always had these pure eyes, you know. Just a simple decoration. A simple. This is overly complicated. If you think about Mr. Peanut, Mr. Peanut is, I think, a lot more complicated than than the Monopoly guy. Like Mr. Peanut's arms are like black. He's got these markings. His name is written. It just has like a really weird body shape, you know. Whereas Monopoly guy is just a typical cartoon character. Yeah. A black Pikachu tail. I'm not exactly sure where this comes from. Because I do remember something like this. I had a drawing book that featured it. Of course, one of the issues is that this just looks hideous, you know? Like, it doesn't look right. This does not look right. Stylistically, it doesn't make sense. But I did have a coloring book that I believe had a black mark or something like that. But it could have been mistaken for a shadow. I think, honestly, I could just be remembering this brown area right here. You can see it right there. Because I used to have my cousins had a Pokemon drawing book. Yeah, this is, hideous. Doesn't make sense. Ugly, ridiculously stupid. This one looks a bit more believable. But if you think about it too much, it kind of looks like he has ink on his tail. Actually kind of reminds me of Sagwa. Berenstain Bears versus Berenstein Bears. Alright, think about this. The guy that made this was a Christian. Pretty sure, like, Steen is usually used in Jewish names. So I don't know why he would make a story about Jewish bears. Unless he was both Christian and Jewish. I don't think he was. But, and then you have Fruit Loops. It just seems like wasted space to have fruit written up there. That makes more sense. I personally don't think of fruit when I think of Fruit Loops because they're just so sweet, sweeter than fruit. It just matches the zaniness. I mean, you have a toucan as a character. Oh, and then there's Jif. Funny thing about Jif is people are like, no, it was always Jiffy. I actually remember it as having two F's. So, yeah, you know, I don't think the name Jif, I don't think anyone would name, like, oh god. I don't think anyone would name it Jif because that kind of makes you think of, like, the name Jeff. Imagine a piece of peanut butter and it says Jeff on it, you know? That's what they would think. Yeah, these don't really make sense. Oscar Mayer, it's actually an A. Don't really have much to say about that. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh yeah, Febreze. Why would it be like a breeze? Like, oh gosh, it's like just add like okay. So Febreze, it only has one E, but people remember it having two E's. But that's like a really stupid name. Like Febreze with one E, it's like a cool stylistic name. This is just breeze with F. It's like if they named Monopoly Feminopoly. That sounds like an agenda or something. It's like, or like La Monopoly or like Pomonopoly. Like, oh gosh, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Then there's the Fruit of the Loom. Let's talk about that one. I think that's the hardest one to get over. Yeah, let's just type it in. So like this logo makes sense. It's uncluttered. This is kind of an abomination. Like it's not really that even. It's just kind of sticking out. And you just have to picture like this is on a tag, you know? So now you have this giant like square area. When I think tags tend to be rectangular, and here you have a rectangular area. Some of them are like really bad. Like some of them have an enormous cornucopia, like something like this, and that is just like an abomination. It's like a standing rectangle, a vertical rectangle versus like the horizontal rectangle. Oh gosh, it's like that wouldn't fit on a tag. Oh man. And look at it. This is not good. Like, what is the like? So the point is fruit of the loom, and it's like this is mostly not a like fruit. This is mostly a cornucopia with some fruit in front. Yeah, I honestly don't think that these ideas make sense. Um, Looking at it from like like cause and effect, like okay, make an assumption, and how would that like if like the Mandela, like if it was originally like as the Mandela effect, people remember it. I have memories of like it having a cornucopia, so like I'm not like oh yeah, those people are idiots type of thing. I'm just saying if you say okay, it used to look like this, then okay, what would that entail? So that's what we've done. We've looked at like, okay, if all these things originally were different, what other side effects would come from that? And I feel like this just looks awful, and we would remember it awful. This is incredibly uneven. Me as a child, I kind of remembered it as being kind of barely here, like barely around the grapes or whatever. But then it's like it was like right behind the grape or something, or maybe the grape wasn't there. It was the cornucopia. But that means like almost half the picture would be a cornucopia. Like that would be that's a terrible design logo. I think also it would be like a bit uneven. You have the cornucopia tail, so like the logo would be uneven. And me as a young kid who like I don't know, I don't. I'm the type of person that like I think about how doorknobs feel when I touch them, and I would have like I would remember like oh what are good shapes for doorknobs, what are bad shapes for doorknobs. If the doorknob felt good, if it felt bad, if it was too ovalish, if it was too small, if the positioning was wrong. There's a whole like I would think about all these things whenever I would like open the door, touch a door, look at a doorknob. Most people don't think about that, but it's called low latency inhibition. It's what I've dealt with for a long time, and I know my low latency inhibition would have been like, oh my god, like this design is terrible. This cornucopia is making it uneven. So I would have remembered something like that. So that's just I think a logical conclusion. I want to say that yeah, the Mandela theories don't really make sense.